Hey guys, Ocie coming from Razor's Edge MMA. Today I wanted to go over a little bit of footwork stuff that you guys can do from home. That way, while we're still, self-distancing, I want to make sure that we're able to still work on our footwork for boxing. Some stuff that you can do by yourself, don't need a partner, still keeping our footwork fresh. So what I want to go over first, we just want to make sure we're just getting loose a little bit. So one of the first footwork drills we're going to do is just working on being light on our feet. So what we're going to do is we're going to get into our stance, equidistance apart, our standard stance, whether you're southpaw or orthodox. We're just going to get in our stance and we're just going to bounce. I don't necessarily want our toes coming off the mat. We're just staying light on our feet, hands up at our defense, and we're just going to bounce in place, just getting our legs warmed up. And then from here, all we're going to do is we're going to do a nice little 180, and then from here you should be in the opposite stance. So if you started in orthodox, you should now be in southpaw. Same thing, vice versa, if you started in southpaw. So just from this position, we're just going to be bouncing, and then turn. Turn. You want to do probably about 4 or 5 bounces on each side, and then turn. Do that for about a minute or so, and then we'll move on to the next thing. All right, guys. So for our next drill, we're going to be kind of using that same principle as far as just getting loose on our feet. So we're still going to be bouncing on our feet, but now we're going to work on our lunges forwards and backwards. So from a good stance, we're bouncing on the feet. After a couple bounces, we're going to get a nice big step forward, cover some distance, get some bounces. Then we're going to push off our front foot to go back to our original position. Still staying in that same stance, still facing the same direction, still keeping our hands up the entire time. So we're in our position, bump, take a big step forward. From here, jump, take a big step back. Forward, bounce, back, bounce, forward, bounce, back, bounce. So we're going to do that for a little bit. Again, probably about a minute or so. Then we're going to see you can actually do it from the other direction. If you want to change your stance and go southpaw if you're orthodox, same thing, vice versa the other way. So you guys can do it both ways, and then we can go on to the next thing. All right, guys. So for the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to be doing that same thing as far as moving in and out, working on our entrances and exits. So now what we're going to do is we're not going to have that bounce in between. I just want us going in, out, in, out, in, out. Again, just getting in, just getting out. If you guys want, you guys can do a jab on the way in. Just going in and out. Again, this is another thing that after you're done that, you guys can switch to your southpaw stance and do it from the other direction. All right, guys. So for this next drill, what we want to do is we want to get 3 objects. I mean, it can be water bottles, it can be pillows, just something just to kind of mark your position where you want your feet to be. I have cones here, but what we're going to do is we're going to be working on something called a switch drill. So with our switch drill, what we're doing is we're working on going from southpaw to orthodox, and then obviously going back. So what we're going to do here, we're going to start in whatever stance is our standard stance. So for me, I am a southpaw, but I'll start orthodox for you guys. So what we're going to do is from this position, we're going to step both of our feet at the same time. And I want to switch right to the opposite stance. So I want to go from orthodox right to southpaw. So I'm just switching my feet. So I'm bringing my front foot to the cone and my back foot to the back cone. And then I'm switching. So the whole time, there's not really a big step to it. I want to work on doing it at the same time. I don't want a bunch of step, 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 step. I want to work on switching those feet about at the same time. So we're almost like we're loading a shotgun. So we're moving our feet. So once we switch, what we're going to do is we're going to throw that lead uppercut. So every time we switch, it's going to be the other hand. We're just going to be switching back and forth, throwing that lead uppercut, digging into it. As we get more comfortable, speed it up. All right, guys, so again, do that for about a minute or so. You're gonna be going constant, no breaks, just keep going through it. All right, guys, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on moving backwards and moving out to the side. So this is what this is gonna simulate. It's gonna simulate an opponent coming towards us, and then us kind of moving out of the way, because say we got like a wall or we have or the ropes behind us. So what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna start at our center object, whether it's a cone, again, water bottle or pillow. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start here, and we're just gonna start shuffling backwards. Once we see our side cones in sight, we're gonna pick a side. And from that position, turn out. So, shuffling back, and then we're moving out. Shuffling back, moving out. Reset. Shuffling back, moving out. Shuffling back, moving out. So again, we're simulating somebody coming towards us, and as they get close, as we get closer to the wall, we're turning and getting out of the way of our opponent. Basically, you're treating them like we're a matador. So, moving back, cutting the angle, moving out. Keeping our hands up, our feet don't cross, and we're turning and moving. So I don't want us, when we're going backwards, to be walking backwards, acting like there's a pole between our feet. Back foot moves first, and then when we're going to the right, right foot moves first. When we're going to the left, left foot moves first. All right, guys, working on retreating, cutting that angle.
Go.
All right, guys, so those are a couple footwork drills that you guys can work on while you're at home. I did want to leave you guys with one more thing to work on, though. This is more of a technique or a concept. Basically the way that we're going to reset our feet or reset our stance. It's called a skip step. So when we're in our stance, again, I'm a southpaw, so I'm going to have my right foot forward, but obviously you can do it from both stances. But what we're going to do is whenever we're throwing our combos, we're moving, getting off angles, we're throwing. So what happens normally is sometimes our feet may get jumbled up, they may get closer than what our normal stance are, they may get a little bit wider than what our normal steps are. So what we want to do is we want to reset our feet. So when we're resetting our feet, we'll do that with a skip step. So what our skip step is, it's first things first, is our front foot is going to take a small step back. My rear foot is going to step out, and then that front foot is going to step up. All right, so one more time. What that's going to happen is my lead foot, the one that's carrying most of the weight, where I'm stepping and I'm driving in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to step that back. I'm going to step my rear foot out, and then I'm going to step my front foot up. So that's resetting the stance. So when you're looking at it, I'm throwing combos, and when I go to reset my feet, back out, up. Back out, up. So what that does is that allows you to get your center of gravity back underneath you. So you're able to go right back into more combinations. After you've been moving a bit, your feet are kind of different. Reset your feet. All you're doing is giving yourself a nice little shuffle. It's something that I found myself, a lot of people do kind of second nature now. They haven't really put like the technique into it or actually the steps to it. So when you're teaching new boxers a good way to get their hips back underneath them, this is a good way to explain the skip step. Because like a lot of us who've been boxing for a while will actually do this naturally because it's just kind of second nature. But it's a very easy thing to learn, just kind of getting your feet back, because we always want to stay loose on our feet. So whenever we're moving, first things first, when I need to reset, my front foot, step back, rear foot, step out, front foot, step up. So again, skip step, back out, up, back out, up. Just resetting the feet. Start moving, just resetting, getting your hips right back under you, getting ready to throw more combinations. So I'm gonna leave you guys with that today. It's the skip step, a couple footwork drills. Feel free to work on those things. You don't need a partner for them. Get some stuff done. Make sure we're still practicing our craft. Just because we can't come to the gym does not mean that we can't be working at home. So let's do this. Make sure I'll put out another video probably early next week or this weekend, and we'll go over a couple drills that we can do, switching from southpaw to orthodox and from orthodox to southpaw. All right, guys. See you soon.